person watching the thing.
I could see the thing, and it was saying 0 people watching. I thought, I can't boo no one. Oh.
Who did you boo, Steve? No one. It might get them on there. They all watch it after them. We'll watch it all then. Did you get anybody with the boo?
I've not moved to Southport yet, John, by the way.
No.
Hopefully next week. I'm still pissing around with CSCS cards and all these safety bollocks.
Oh, is he still like? Is he not? Oh, definitely on then at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely on.
Oh, this Saturday, I mean.
No. So I'm gonna be home, so I can go. We'll talk after.
Look at Steve. You definitely booed him. Like we didn't know you was gonna do that, you prick. That's what somebody who got booed would say.
I got you, Pete.
Yeah, totally got you. You and your big sloppy ass. I bet you wet yourself there, Pete.
Prick now.
Yeah, he did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have thought that. I bet you could only type it. You were shaking that much.
I feel like a ghost. And the patient. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, do you get laughing ghosts? Wouldn't if you've had, hello, Ray. Do you get laughing ghosts? Wouldn't it be good if you had a laughing ghost? Hello, James. How you doing, pal? Yeah, wouldn't it be ace if you had a laughing ghost? That'd be well good, that, wouldn't it? Just a ghost that went round him.
No, it's not in like in the.
Hey?
What's it called? The that thing.
Blue Witch.
Blair Witch. It's not like kids like laughing and joking and that.
Oh, that's well scary, that. No, it's when the tent starts going. When they're inside the tent. Because first of all,
they're not laughing outside. You can see kids like laughing and
all playing like it. But then the tent starts going. God, that shit, man. I'm gonna have to watch that again. I'll have to watch it, Mary Jane. Good evening, Chris. How are you all? How are you all?
Not really a ghost, Chris. You're all right. Calm down.
He's a spooky pest. That's what they used to call Phantom Menace, wasn't it? Spooky pest. Right. So we're doing about who in chat believes in ghosts.
1 for yes, 2 for no.
1 for if you believe in. Or come on, get yourself on chat as well if you believe in ghosts. Yes. Let's hear your ghost stories. I love that. I know, James, that first Blue Witch. Because, see, I think a lot of people cocked up with that.
Go on, carry on.
You're eating on. All right. James believes in ghosts. James believes in ghosts. Oh, Ray believes in ghosts. Now then. So, if I put it to you that if you believe in ghosts, then obviously you believe in God. Because I say that there's no atheists that believe in ghosts. I say atheists do not believe in ghosts. It's impossible for an atheist to believe in a ghost. You know what I mean?
That's a separate thing, though, isn't it, really?
No,
could it not be a separate thing?
Yes,
but atheism is the belief in God.
Hey?
So, atheism, it's a non-belief in a God, atheism, yeah?
Yeah, atheists don't believe in God.
Does it mean you can't have souls without, or ghosts without a God? It could be a completely different thing, argument-wise.
Yes, but there is absolutely zero proof of ghosts. Zero.
It's not about proof. It's about
you see, it's about believing. It's about believing. God. No, it's about believing. Then it's not about proof.
No, but it's not about atheism. No, it's not about atheism. Then a ghost. It's a different argument now, but
no, the principle. Listen, the principle is the same. It's a belief It's a belief, Steve. Isn't it? There's zero evidence of ghosts. Zero. Absolutely nana.
Can we start with the belief? Can we just go along that we believe that you believe was in ghosts first? Let's carry on with that. All right.
Warren. I do, Janet. Stone tape theory, not God though. What's stone? Come on, James, and tell us what stone tape theory is. I don't know what that is, pal. I do. Hi, Jan. How you doing?
What's that,
Depends what you
Say that
mean by
again.
God. Yeah, well, you see, Ray, because it's, well, let's have a, see, ghosts are weird, aren't they? See, like this here, I've got a video. Let me put it, let's start off with a video. So, we've got a spooky video here for you. Where are we? Oh, this is spooky, actually, this is well spooky, this. Right, watch this. Watch this.
Dalam kitab Yohanes, Akulah kebangkitan dan hidup. Barang siapa percaya kepadaku, ia akan hidup walaupun ia sudah mati. Dan setiap orang yang hidup.
You see that?
What, there's still somebody in there?
Yeah, look at it again. Look at it.
Are they burying somebody alive? Or is it somebody?
No, it's a ghost. It's his ghost. What?
Dalam kitab Yohanes, Akulah kebangkitan dan hidup. Barang siapa percaya kepadaku, ia akan hidup walaupun ia sudah mati. Dan setiap orang yang hidup.
What do you think? That's a bit spooky, that, isn't it? You think they were all acting?
Filipino.
Oh, what's the Asian ghost called? Pen. No,
well, it depends where you're from.
Yeah,
Thai,
yeah.
they call them P.
Because they all believe that. See, yeah. See, they're all.
Well, they're very. Asians are really like super freaky with shit like that.
Super freaky.
Freaky.
Yeah, because well, you think all Brazilians and all that, they all like that, don't they, and everything as well, don't they?
If you're really, there's definitely that link with the religion and
well, it's you see, that's what I was saying. 37%. Hello, Nicole. 30. Nicole. 37% of Americans believe in haunted houses and ghosts and stuff. 37%.
I think it's like 50% of them still believe in Noah's Ark. Sorry, Nicole.
How can you believe in Noah's Ark? Ray James says, I think ghosts are a natural phenomenon. Phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
Phenomenon. Natural materials store images. Oh, I'll turn it back off again now. Natural materials store images and sound like magnetic tape, then relays back. That's a very good theory, though. I'm not going to dismiss that whatever because I don't know. That's the first time I've heard of that. I think ghosts are a natural phenomenon. Are they ghosts though? Or are they? See, why don't you get animals then, James? Why do you not have animal ghosts?
Nicole's seen ghosts.
Oh shit! Oh, Paul's here. Oh, head on. Now then, we haven't to frighten Paul because he comes on to go to bed.
Yeah. Paul, don't go to bed yet. We're talking about ghosts, and that's when they get you.
Or Janet says, I believe in ghosts. Seen a few in my time nursing and other weird things. Ah, that's the thing. Weird and ghosts. There's a difference between weird and ghosts, isn't there? Stuart's on. Even though I'm a big believer in spirits. Chin chin. Chin chin, Stuart. Chin chin.
Wait a minute. Right, stop all this ghost shit. I'm going to turn the lights on. I'm having a brew here.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I'm having a glass of wine. Because I thought I might have a glass of wine. I believe in ghosts. I've seen them, says Nicole. Ooh. Have you seen them, though, Nicole? Have you seen them? Dave's here. Hello, Dave. Louise here. Hello, Louise. Dave and Louise.
I'd love to see a ghost now. Would you not?
Yeah.
Like as good as you could be, it's a fucking ghost. That has to be a ghost. Do you know what I mean? Not like you're pissed or whatever. A proper experience where you go, oh my God, Walls, you're not going to believe this. I genuinely, I've seen a fucking ghost. To really change your look on. I mean, you're going to start believing.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
No, stop
Unless
it,
it
Warren.
came up and said,
Stop it. No,
right.
I mean a full-on. Like, there's no other explanation. I know there will be, but
it's always that but, isn't it? Hello, Louise. How you doing, Louise?
Trouble with where we think, though, isn't it, Warren?
Yeah.
Isn't it, Warren?
All right. I've sent you a message saying give me your contact. I sent you a reply back to you, Dave, saying would that email address do? I sent you a message saying give me your contact.
Shit. Sorry, Dave.
I've got loads of photos and videos of my ghost. Oh, no way. Hey, up, we got to, let's get rid of this one. Block user. We had one of those. We'll keep getting them now, recently.
We had a ghost.
We had a ghost. We had a spooky pest. Ooh, wait on. Einstein believed in ghosts. Did he? I don't think. He also believed in God, though, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Oh, Ray's here. Here.
Einstein didn't believe in God. He used
Einstein
it as a way
believed in
go.
Ray. Good evening, Ray.
Good evening, guys. Good evening. How are we doing?
How are you, sir?
Good.
And Nicole says, yes, I was a nursing aide in a convalescent hospital. I've seen the spirit of a person leave the body as they died.
Oh, well cool.
Did it do a right big send-off? You know, like dead,
Did you spill your glue? Did you spill your glue when you went, oh? Sorry, Nicole.
Yeah, I was so shocked I dropped me glue.
Sorry, Nicole.
Sorry, Nicole. Louise says, I love ghosts. I've seen that film. It's called Entity. You know that film Entity, when she gets loved by a ghost?
Yeah, nice tits.
Give it me now. I didn't see it. Right then. Where's the...
Have you got the thing off Dave then,
No, I sent him the email. I replied to him with our email address.
Right.
Which, I don't... What was it now? I'll just try. Anyway, Ray, how are we doing, pal?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm feeling pretty funky, actually. Pretty good today. You know what I mean? All up for a bit of spookiness.
Good stuff. How are you, Steve?
I'm tired, to be honest. I'm all right now. Now we got going.
Oh.
But you know, like sometimes you can't be bothered. And but no, I'm all right now.
That's good.
He says, who's got nice tits? Off the Entity. But we're sure you've got nice tits too, Louise. The girl off the film The Entity. Mark's here. How are you, Mark?
Louise, you've got lovely jugs.
You can't say that, Steve. You can't.
Well, you know. Yeah, in The Entity, it was... so you never seen it. And you see this woman, she's led down naked. Next minute, she's getting papped up. You can see her breast moving, can't you? It was quite a good film. It's probably rubbish if you watched it now, but do you remember it, Ray? The Entity.
The Entity.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I think I've heard the name, but I've never watched anything like that. No, I don't think.
I think for us lot, it was more famous for seeing tits in the film, weren't it?
Oh, yeah. I would have remembered it. I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, it was all. Right, how do I do this? I'm just trying to get our email address.
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, Mark. I'm a ghost.
So Ray, have you ever seen a ghost, Ray?
I've never actually seen one, but I've been in the presence of people who, and on one occasion also had a bit of a weird thing going on. One was, oh God, about 40 years ago, believe it or not, and I was washing my car outside of the house, and just inside of the house at that time there was an electricity meter with a cover over it. Anyway, I was having a minute. I was washing the car. I sat on the step, and the next minute, the cupboard covering it, the cover, if you like, started giving it this boom, 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 just moving on its own.
You're going to say way-oh.
I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, I got up, and I was scared. I thought, what's behind it, you know? Anyway, I pulled it away, and there was nothing there. And I'm like, that's weird. Anyway, I put it back, I sat down again, and then a couple of minutes after, it started doing it again. Didn't do it after that, but that was a bit of a weird one. The other one was pretty... I was sat with some people, and one of them was my son. There was 4 of us, actually. And we're sitting in this person's house, and my son and my sister all of a sudden went, bloody hell, what's that? And me and her husband were like, what are you talking about? And my son said, did you not hear that? I said, no. He said, God, he said, that was like really intense scream, like a real spooky scream, like a child or something. And they were like a bit pale, my son and my sister. We didn't hear anything. Now, those are the only two sort of things I've had. But just because I haven't seen them doesn't mean I don't believe in them. I think some people are more prone to seeing them because of the level of consciousness, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean that's what I agree. I think most people who are prone to it, and it's like people who want to believe. Do you know what I mean? I guarantee those that don't. I can't imagine somebody who doesn't believe in ghosts, like myself, who doesn't believe in ghosts. You know, and something spooky happened. I'd be there going, "What's going on here?" and finding out. I wouldn't go. That's a ghost. Same thing as like UFOs and aliens. I look at something weird in the sky, and I'm not going to automatically think, because I don't know what that is, that has got to be a spaceship from another galaxy. And the same thing with, because I don't know what this spooky thing is that's making me shit myself right now, because of everything that I've seen, you know. I mean, we're made to believe. I mean, we're taught that from kids, aren't we? What do we get told when we're kids?
Yeah.
We have the Tooth Fairy. We have Father Christmas. You know what I mean? And there was always things going on about the boogeyman. And there's all. Do you remember what was it? When we have God, obviously, we got old God and spooky ghosts and the Holy Spirit and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's bred into us, isn't it?
I think it's all about perceptions. Again, your thoughts, beliefs. But again, I know this is a bit sort of heavy, but I think this is factual. I think it's people's perception of reality, and that would depend as well. I think, and if they can connect with different frequencies, if you like, because I think that's what ghosts are.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, see, there's a classic. Right, there's a classic. I watched this on this. What's she called? Carrie something. I forgot her name. And she was telling a story, and she was saying about how she was in her house, and I think she was in Los Angeles, and she was in this house, and she said, I suddenly got this terrible like a weight on my chest, and then she said I had a terrible a feeling that something wasn't right, and then I started to get this sound like a going on, and she was like, oh my kids, what's going on? And my son's just come down with a white towel over his head. And then, or was it my son? And yeah, she said that I had this terrible weight on my chest, and it had been going on for a few days. And he said it got to the point I came home. I was coming home at night, and it was happening nearly every night. The same kind of thing, that feeling that something's, a presence, another presence, these noises and that. And I started to cry and get really upset. So she rang a friend up, and then her friend says, "Oh right, what you need to do is you got to burn sage and tell the ghost to get out of your house." So she was doing all this, and this obviously wasn't working. So she said, "Well, I went on the internet and then I found this forum, and this forum was for people who look into these things, but they don't believe in ghosts. They go around trying to debunk them. They go around trying to prove what it all is." So she went on. She told them what the crack was. And this guy said to her, have you ever heard of, I forgot what it's called? Oh my, carbon monoxide poisoning. And she's like, what do you mean? He says, well, there's just one of the common things about carbon monoxide poisoning is your chest gets really tight. And then also you're being poisoned. And you get auditory illusions like a sound and all that. So she called the gas company, and the gas company came round and they said, you're really fortunate that you're right now because you could have died. She had a gas leak.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And it's as simple as that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know, I'm not saying that's not true, obviously.
The ghost got gassed.
Eh?
And did the ghost get gassed? Is that why?
The ghost died. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah,
well, but I have spoken to people who have believed, and they've certainly experienced ghosts. And I've heard this before as well from where this guy was at the time. Other people have told me similar things, So I'm led to believe it was true, what he was experiencing.
Well, the experience 100% happens, whether it's a ghost or not.
Ghost or not is the thing.
It's like me being in the
but
room
things
now.
like
This is proper spooky. It's spooky. It's fucking real.
Things like lights going on and off, and stuff like that. You know,
dodgy wiring.
They're all very
well,
easy.
I'll tell you what. I've got. Check this out for a spooky video.
I didn't even see that. When you showed that other one, I couldn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
Right, I'll show. Check this one out. Like,
okay.
The quality's not so good, but this is spooky. This is spooky. Watch this one.
I knew it. I knew it at the same time.
You should have done that. I can't unsee that now. I can't unsee that now.
Steve asked me earlier on, he's getting funny links.
He said he didn't have any. That's why I thought, right, it's not one of them. I can't believe I've been double bluffed. Buff!
That was a good one, that one. Did I get anybody in chat with that? Oh dear, that was so. I first when Steve was leaning right in then, I was loving that. Oh dear. What's James put here? Oh, good night, Paul. Paul's off to bed now. I'm glad we've done our work.
Good night, Paul.
Steve nearly fell off his chair. The oldest known text, the Epic of Gilgamesh, has a ghost element in the story. They've been with us from the very beginning. This so's our imagination. So have the old spirits and gods. You know what I mean?
Why do you think? Why do you think they appear? What makes you think of why are they here? Why would they be here? Do you think? A ghost?
Right, yeah,
if they did exist,
why would they be here?
Why would they be here?
I'll give you my take in a minute then.
Well, let's just say I'm the ghost. I'm dying. I'm going to be a ghost. Surely I'll be going, Oz, it's fucking true.
Yeah. Why don't they ever do that?
Really, honestly, so I've asked ask me any question so I can prove it's me. We are ghosts.
That's a really good, but that's a good point. That Ray. Why did they
not
never come back?
Loads of people do it, like McCartney, legendary. John Lennon did it with McCartney. Says, listen, whoever goes first, let's make sure we. Barry's here.
Oh, Baz is here. Hey, up, Baz.
Here.
No, keep that on, Baz.
It's not very. Them jugs aren't very ghost-like, but they're very nice.
No, they're very. No, keep them on. They keep. Oh, he's got them. Thank God he's got pants
on. One second, I've got my pants on tonight.
Do you remember the entity?
There's something to eat out in the microwave.
James has put that ghosts are linked to emotional trauma. Yes, they are. They totally are. Because lots of people who've had, like stress and especially if somebody's died close to them and stuff like that.
Well, imagine that, like, if you just somehow you felt really sorry for your mum and dad, whatever, like, say, like me, imagine, like, say, my mum just appeared. I mean, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? You go, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was just the best feeling ever, thinking, they're all right. We are going to meet again. It'd be brilliant.
Wouldn't that be a comfort, that? Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. Thinking, my God.
Depends on what you get on with your family, though, I suppose.
Well, some people would say, a lot of people, shall I say, believe you never die. Your body dies, but your consciousness, your soul, whatever you want to call it, that lives on forever. So therefore, when you die, your soul leaves the body. And some would believe whether this is right or wrong, I don't know, would then go to another frequency. You would go into another frequency.
But isn't that really convenient and a right nice happy ending?
Yes, you
because
could argue
people-
that, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because people,
but
people can't deal with the fact that when you die, that's it.
yeah, well, I must admit, I always thought like that, always. No, if I'm being honest, I'm unsure. I am unsure. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I do know people who've experienced it, and I've heard other people saying things, and it sort of makes sense. And the reason you see the ghost is because they've not been totally ready to move on. So therefore, they're sort of still in this frequency, and you only perceive them as ghosts because a lot of people some people believe that we don't live in a physical reality. It's a perceived reality, what you decode as a reality through information fields. So if that was the case, if I'm decoding this solid round me, or what I perceive to be solid, if I'm decoding that as solid but it's not, then when you see a ghost, they're from another frequency. And that's why you see them walking through walls and what have you. Because they don't walk through walls. There's no wall there. It's just you who perceives that information field
How do they
as
stand
a
on the
wall.
floor, though?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Why do they stand
How do
on
they
the
stand
floor
on the
then?
floor?
Why do they
accept
stand on the
that bit.
floor?
Yeah, well, they accept
What
the
do you
bit they
mean?
stand on.
What do you mean, Steve?
Well, if they're in that room, but they're not
Yes.
really, they can walk through a wall because they're not fully there. But how do they walk on the floor?
They're not. They are fully there. They are fully there. It's just as.
No, do you not get me point? I don't know
I'd have to talk about. Right. If you want me to. If you perceive this, right. Let's just suppose. I'm not saying this is true. Okay. Let's just suppose there is no physical reality. Right? Let's just suppose that everything around us is an information field of frequencies. You know, just like Wi-Fi. And what you're doing is decoding. You're decoding that information field as solid reality. But actually, there's nothing here. It's just in your head. Let's just suppose that. Then when you see a ghost, right? That's because you've that frequency, they've come out of their frequency and come into our frequency. And we are decoding them. We are then decoding them as an holographic image, just like the rest of reality. But they can walk through that wall because they're not in our frequency, because there is no wall. There is no wall. And when you say walking on the floor, all that sort of stuff, again, if you believe it, is electromagnetic force. It's not solid. It's an electromagnetic force, what you perceive to be solidarity, to be solid. Not solidarity, to be solid.
You don't just get them on the ground level ghost, do you? You get them in attics.
No. Anything. Well, anything what you perceive to be solid.
But that's what Steve's point is. That's what Steve's point is.
I think Barry could be one now. He seems to be in and out of
yeah, I think so. I think
this world and the next world.
And Ace has a good point. He says, why are they all Victorian? And has anybody ever seen a black ghost? You ever seen any black ghosts, do you? You see white ghosts all the time. Well, anything. And you know, when you've ever seen ghosts, on your pictures, right? You never see a black ghost, do you?
Yeah, but them are pictures, aren't they?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, how are we doing? How you doing, Baz?
Sorry.
Try again. Third time lucky. I must have a really bad internet. Sorry, I keep coming in and out. It's really.
No, it's all right.
You can hear you all fine, Baz. It's all working fine there, pal.
You're literally proving Ray's point.
Interesting chat from what I can pick up, guys. But you know what? One thing I'd like to ask the fella that please forgive me, I've only just come in. I'm assuming he's some kind of ghost expert and whatnot. Why is it when you go to some of these, expeditions type of thing where the ghost hunters are telling you I feel a presence of that? Why are they always like Cavaliers from the 1700s? Why is it never your average Derek and Dorian from number 6 in that street? And has nobody ever died that once come through it last 40 years? Because they're always like charging Knights of the White Satin from
Yeah, I
700
think
million
I don't. I'm certainly no ghost expert, that's for sure. But I'm assuming, based on that, what I've just said, if somebody wasn't ready to leave this particular dimension, if you like, which we're in now, then
Aye.
they would be fairly recent. Relatively recent, I would think. Relatively recent. I don't know.
Has anybody seen a ghost on a skateboard? They'd be on the phone, wouldn't they, Steve?
No, I could have sworn I once saw Christ on a bike.
Yeah, but that's supposing that that reality that you're talking about. I know you believe in that, Ray. But
no, I didn't say I believed in it. I didn't say I believed in it. I said I'm unsure. I don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't dismiss it if that's what you mean.
No,
I don't dismiss
yeah.
it. No, I don't dismiss it. I don't know.
I tell you what, it's horrible as a child. Do you remember like being a kid? I used to get really bad nightmares. I mean, imagination fucking was very vivid, and the thought of ghosts and things like that until you didn't really fully know. But oh god, I was spooked as fuck as a child.
We're programmed to be frightened, though.
Exactly. I was just going to say, and that's
in our
the thing,
DNA.
isn't it?
It's in our DNA.
You accept the fact that we're programmed, and we're programmed with a lot of things. We're programmed about reality. How do you know that?
No, Ray. I mean, in our actual DNA, going right back to when we were apes, because we're still, but I mean, like, why is it in us in a dark wood and we're scared?
Because we're programmed that way. We're programmed to believe that.
Yeah, because not to believe it. It's in your DNA because. There's more likely.
I don't know about that.
But there's more danger in there, isn't it? Because you can't see so good, can you? Your brain is programmed to. I've been looking into this. But it'll take a chance. It'll say, look, what's going to be better for you here? For me to say, right, there's something in them woods, or not to say that. You go into them woods and something happens to you. It's better that you think there's something in them woods and nothing happens to you than you just go trumping in like that and then something does happen to you. It's a natural in your actual DNA to keep us alive,
That fear when you're a kid.
Why should you be frightened of? Why should you be frightened of them? That's only because we've been taught that.
No, it's in.
there's no reason.
It's in your DNA, Ray. It keeps you. It's to keep us alive. Do you know, like back when we were all cavemen and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it's there when you don't know something, and say like. A place like that would be a great place for predators, wouldn't it? Because it's low visibility. Do you know what I mean? It's a place for predators. It's as simple as that. So that's why we're naturally frightened of them kind of places. Because
let me tell you this story then. When you're talking about ghosts, now you're going to think
I like stories.
Well, okay. I'm only telling you what they told me. Okay.
Is it true?
Well, this is what I mean. I can't say this to you. I don't know. To me, he's not the sort of guy who would tell me a lie.
The floor is yours, Ray. Go on, tell us the story.
Go on. He had no need to. He had no need to. So what he said, he was only about 13, I think, something like that. And he went staying at his grandma's house. Okay. And so he stayed overnight, and he was telling me that through the night he woke up. Okay. When he woke up, there was a red Indian sitting at the bottom of the bed.
How?
Exactly.
Sorry, Ray.
So I'm going like, bollocks. He said, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding you. I said, come off it. He said, I'm telling you, Ray. I said, and what did you do? He said, well, I thought I was dreaming. So he said, I got up, I went to the bathroom and threw water on my face and came back. He said, and the red Indian was still there. I said, and what? A proper one with full on feathers on and everything. I went, He said, no, I'm telling you. He said, anyway, next morning he went down and his grandma was there. Right? He said, Grandma, yeah. He said, last night when I was in bed, he said, a red Indian was in my bedroom. And he said, she didn't flinch. And she said, yeah, don't worry. He said, it's just my guide. And his grandma used to go to spiritualist temple regular. And she just said, don't worry about it. It's just my guide. So
good story. I like it.
Who knows?
He must,
Yeah.
he must be running off because he's in my room, not yours.
Have you got
No,
most
I
tech
believe there's something in that, though. I believe there's something in that. I mean, sometimes you can get, you go into a place and that, and you can get a sick, can't you, that? Like
Like a
what was
feel.
the element before with danger, or perhaps somebody's watching you. So you just get a sick
Yeah, but
sense.
it's always a
don't you?
spooky place, though, isn't it? It's always a
Yeah.
spooky place at a spooky time.
Mm.
It's never 10 o'clock in the morning when there's people about and you just haven't got. If you're going like where around I live, it's spooky as fuck, to be honest, because it's really old. It's an old monastery.
Yeah.
It's really old churches and some of the old graveyards. You go through there at like whatever 11 o'clock at night, completely sober, and it's spooky as fuck. A couple of hours
Yeah,
later,
only because
it's red.
only
It's
because
fucking
we've been
brilliant.
only
You
because we've been
spooky,
programmed to
it's
think it's spooky. Only because we've been programmed that way to think it's spooky.
No,
That's why.
No, but that's what I'm saying, Ray. It's in our DNA to keep us alive.
In what way though? Why
Like I
would you?
said,
Why would you? Why should a woods be more spooky than walking through a city centre?
because, well, no, I'm saying it's in your DNA, Ray, from when we were like, when we were bloody cavemen and all that.
I know,
kind of
but
stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm
The
sorry. What I
dinosaurs
meant
were
was,
hunting us. It's like that fight.
I hear what you're saying, but do you not think we've been sort of programmed, or whatever you want to say, conditioned to believe that it's far more spooky in a woods and something bad's going to happen? Because, in all honesty, you've got a worse chance walking through a city centre than the middle of a woods.
Yeah, but it don't make
So
a good
could you
film,
not
does it,
argue
Ray?
it's just programming?
It don't make a
It's
good
just
film, does it,
conditioning.
Ray? It doesn't
It's just conditioning.
It's not
It's
conditioning.
what you see in Hollywood. It's all from the films, isn't it?
Exactly. Hollywood, it makes a great story, doesn't it?
Well,
when I
that's
used
what
to
I'm
go-
saying. But in reality, it's not really spooky, is it? What's spooky about it?
if
They're all
you were
frigging
in-
dead.
If you were in
So-
India, right? If you were in India and you went in the woods at night time, or Africa,
Yeah.
Tigers.
like tigers and shit like that.
Oh yeah, that's stuff. But you won't get that in low rinse, will you? You're not going to get tigers.
Go on, Barry. You're going to say something,
Walking.
mate.
Do you know what I mean?
Barry, go on.
You lot there?
Have you seen a ghost,
You're going to
Baz?
say something, Barry.
No, I've not seen a ghost, but what Ray's saying there, like a few years ago, before I moved to Cumbria full time, I used to go up there to the Lake District while camping, and I've spent many a night in a tent on a mountain on my own. People used to say, "Oh, you're not frightened, middle of nowhere, it's dead spooky." I mean, what Ray's saying there, I'd say, well, no, because you're more likely to get battered to death in a town centre by a drunk, you know what I mean?
Oh,
than
yeah.
somebody just setting off and thinking, right, I'm going to go and travel up all these mountains just to club some bugger to death, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's got a good point, you know what I mean? But in lower inch, you might meet Busty Brenda, and there's many a fucking there's many a lad become to Busty Brenda's ways, you know what I mean?
Well, Martin says that I had a piss bucket that lived under the bed. So
I've got one what lives inside door.
Also, his girlfriend was reincarnated as a herring gull.
My girlfriend was reincarnated as a herring gull. Yeah, we've got your email, Dave. I can see him, but I can't just download them. I just tried to get him then. He's sent us pictures of his. There are records of people.
I think there's a ghost in this cab. There's something, a presence trying to lasso me.
Bloody hell, Baz, what are you doing? Oh, right. It's an extension lead.
It's got inverter. It's got inverter for microwave.
Right.
I've just had my tea, haven't I?
I thought you were going through some hard times then, Baz. I thought, no, not on the show.
Yeah, I've had a late night tonight. I've run it right down to the wire.
Oh, dear God. There are records of people in witnessing contemporary ghosts in the conflict in Sarajevo with people who have only been deceased for a few days. Yeah, but that's the thing, James, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's the, the emotional thing and all that kind of stuff. You know, but you can play when you got stress on stress, and especially with the war and everything, group-induced paranoia. Well, that definitely does.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe in that. I think there's, I'm open to suggestions and stuff. But from my experience of watching things and seeing things, especially on TV, there's far too many charlatans about, like what can, they're good at manipulation. Like, have we got any rings in? I think I've got gene on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
Well, you get that with anything, don't you?
Over the last 10 years,
that.
all these things, all these programs I've been watching and stuff, so much of the truth has come out. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, it was all.
Well, look at Derek Akora.
These people coming around, with the cards and what's it called, the mind reading and J. John or whatever they are.
Yeah.
All their covers been fucking blown, every single one of them.
So what you're saying, guys? What you're saying? You don't believe at all that some people can connect to another frequency? Is that what you mean?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I think there could be some truth in that, but I would love to know why the people what can connect with some higher frequency and people what's gone on to the afterlife, as you say, why do they always only connect with 1700 bloody Knights of the Realm? I think average Joe's coming through what's died recently.
I think, Barry, I think it's because I don't know, because you would have some form of connection with them, a relative, or I don't know, because if they're in the distance. Well, if they're in the distant past, I don't think they'd have any real reason to be connecting to the people who are here, really. Yeah. I don't know.
But like Steve said, though, why don't they come back and say, it's right, there is an afterlife. You're right, it's totally, everything's sound. Do you know what I mean? Everything's fine. There's an afterlife. Why don't they come back and tell us that?
You mean the ghosts?
Yeah.
You mean? Yeah. Because they can't connect with you because you're not on that frequency.
So how can we see them?
Because, right, you're going to laugh now, I guess. If you had a radio channel, and you get it spot on and it's dead clear, you're spot on that frequency. And I look at a ghost like you're getting bad reception. They're in between, they're between frequencies.
Oh yeah, but if you're on that theory, you always get audio first before you've got to get it bob on to get a visual, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. I'm no ghost expert, you see. No,
we know that, Ray. No, it's
but I'm just saying. I'm just trying to, I'm more looking at a quantum sort of reality than I am a physical one.
Yeah. Forgive me, Ray. I've only come in on half of this conversation. I was trying to get on the StreamYard thing. So, have you actually seen a ghost? Then is that what we're saying?
No, I've spoke to people, Barry. Who have. I haven't. It is Barry, isn't it? I've spoke to people who have, but I personally have had a couple of sort of weird incidents. Incidences, like I was explaining earlier, when something were moving about at the side of me, there was no explanation to it, and then I was in a room with some other people, and one of them was my son, and they experienced this terrible scream which made them like jump, and me and my brother-in-law didn't hear a thing, and they were really, so I don't know. I'm open to it. I don't know. I certainly don't. I don't totally dismiss it. That's for sure. No, I don't.
Yeah, James.
I used to know a lad what was the landlord of a pub in Wigan, and he was convinced that after he'd locked up and there was nobody else in the pub, he was convinced he could hear eight men playing dominoes in tap room. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. These are
when he went down, there was nobody there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love how there's loads of ghosts in pubs where they sell alcohol, though. That's always a good one, isn't it?
Blomwich, it's a popular beer, apparently.
Has anyone heard from Derek Pecora? Yeah, how come Derek Pecora hasn't come back? You think that'd be a guy who could come back? Did you ever see the one where, because they totally caught him out. They set him up, didn't they? They had one with the skull. And he had to get a. Did you remember that one? And he got this skull. Yeah, and he said it was somebody from whatever, like. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting all this," and he was doing all the bollocks with it. Turns out they completely got it. It was an old Viking skull, weren't it? And the one where he was saying, "Where does he get his goat?" Do you know when he gets possessed? When he does his possession things and all. Yeah. And does he get Mary loves dick? Does he get Mary loves dick? Mary loves dick. Mary loves dick, and everyone.
Mary loves dick.
Yeah.
I'm hearing this voice. It sounds
Yeah.
a bit like Harry Cross from Brookside.
Yeah.
He's dead and all. You know what I mean?
Sounds a bit like me, really, but
I tell you what, I just my Wi-Fi just went off, whatever. Then and everything kind of froze. Anyway, I thought, right, I'll go and get a glass of wine while it's doing that. And I've gone down there and put the light on. I'm thinking it was proper spooky as fuck. But this is how you go into that mindset of that, like.
that's the
And then
thing,
I can
though.
hear this. I'm
But
thinking,
what about-
the fuck's that?
Yeah,
I
but
thought
what
it was one of
about
the cats doing something. I'm hearing this. And I looked. There was one cat on the settee. I went up to the cat, like listening. And thought, it's not the cat. It was the TV. It was a bird on the TV. I'm thinking, oh my god! But this is how easily it is.
Well,
Literally, just talking about it. I'd have walked past that telly. I wouldn't have even thought about it. But next minute, I'm hearing these weird fucking noises in the house.
Because it's all about conditioning, and that's why I think on that. Now, this I do believe this. You were taught to be afraid of certain things, and that's your conditioning. You know, like a ghost is scary. A ghost is scary, and well, maybe it doesn't need to be, does it? A ghost may be great, and they might, I don't know. Just what we condition believe.
No, but when you say conditioning, it's like scary stories are fun. That's all it is.
Well, they're fun, but they're not fun to Steve. He's shitting himself when he went downstairs.
Well, Dave says, Steve, can I
John
come?
McDermott.
I seem. It seems to be you're the only person who has real weirdness, Steve.
Yeah.
What's this? Oh,
What's
John
John saying?
McDermott.
Yeah.
John McDermott says children seem to have a better connection. Me and a few mates did a Ouija board years ago upstairs in an old pub at about 13. He says, wow, I won't forget it. Shit happens we couldn't explain. The three of us blamed each other until things happened without each of us involved. Just mentioned pubs.
And I believe that. I believe that. I think I would have an explanation for that, because, like with anything, a child's mind is more open. It's more open, so they make connections much easier. Whereas we are heavily conditioned. We're heavily conditioned, and they're not.
Also very gullible.
Well, you can look at it how you like. You can look at that. I think they're more open.
No, but that's
you spend really young children. They don't have any strong beliefs. They have no strong beliefs. That's why a lot of people like spending time with them, because they don't have any real prejudices or anything, because they haven't been conditioned the same. And that's why I believe they can connect to other things. And I've also other children who I actually know, they connect. One of their kids connects. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, but they also believe in Father Christmas and the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, because they've been told that. Because they've been told that. They've not been told about ghosts. They've not been told about ghosts.
Of course they have. Yeah, well, the Holy Spirit and God.
Not like that. Not like that. They
Yeah, but it's all the same, isn't it?
Not connecting.
Let me just tell you this little ghost story. I've got a ghost story. So I met John McDermott on the train, and look, I met him in Cambodia anyway. So I remember this Cambodian story. I'm not sure if I've told this before, but at the bar I ended up having on the island, we had one of the helpers. It was this drunk guy, really good guy, really, but he was a bad alcoholic. But anyway, they kept on saying, why is he not getting sacked? He doesn't get sacked. He's just like, you just turn up, they forgive him.
Yeah.
So the boss, or one of the owners of the island, basically, his wife, like there's like super millionaires, like ridiculous. She said that, let me try and work this out. She thought that this guy, she dreamt it or something, that she had to go to this village to find her son. The son was actually older than her in like a previous life kind of thing. They both died at birth or something. Anyway, it's my mate who's the pisshead. She ended up adopting him, and he's actually older than her. But she was. But when she went to the village, apparently she'd never been to this village before, but when she got there, she knew everyone. You know, like she knew all the names and blah, blah, blah. Like proper, like, wow, this is real good, freaky story.
Yeah.
And literally, he was there to prove it, you know. So somebody's believed in something along the way.
I believe there are. I definitely believe, and especially children, which somebody just said in the chat. I certainly believe that people can connect with a different reality. I do. You know, and I've got to tell you now, guys, I was just the same as you with a lot of things, because when I was speaking to you guys on here the other week, and I'm listening to you, some of the things you're saying, and yeah, I can relate to a lot of things you say, but like now, I do have a bit of a different perception maybe of things. I certainly don't dismiss things, and I do think some people, I know there's a lot of charlatans about and all the rest of it, but I do believe that some people do have gifts for doing it, especially children.
Anyway, let's have a little introduction here. We have in the house Dave Monday. Welcome, Dave.
Hello, lads.
Hello, Dave.
Really, Dave?
Right then, what do you want to know? I have real ghosts.
Oh, well, tell us all about them, Dave.
It's a bit odd because I don't believe in ghosts. I don't watch the programs. They're not my thing at all. We just have... My home's an happy home. It's a family home. And it's not an old home. It's not 1700s or anything like that. But there was old houses here before I lived here. We have cameras. We have infrared cameras, and they go on night vision at night. And they pick ridiculous things up constantly. This is why I said I'll send you some pictures. So unlike everybody else who's got a story, I've got pictures, I've got videos. So when you talked about this last week, I thought I'll go on the internet and I asked for the best evidence of ghosts. Well, I get more evidence at my house in one night than I can find on the entire internet.
Really?
To give you an idea, about last Thursday, one of the cameras went off in the workshop. So, and it triggers on my phone. Now, the cameras on the outside of the building all go onto an hard drive, but the cameras on the inside, you don't video yourself walking about all day. So they just come up on my phone, let me know there's some movement. So they've all got trip switches on them all over it. So I suppose I'm like this ideal ghost investigation thing without meaning to be. I just want to catch burglars or anything moving about.
Yeah.
So anything infrared, what moves, it catches it. But what it does, it comes up on my phone, so it just triggers movement in garage, movement in workshop, you know, things like that.
I'm looking at the pictures now, Dave.
Thursday, about 9 o'clock, 9:30, might have been a bit later, it said movement in garage. So anyway, I just pressed it for see. I expected one of the kids have been in pinching a screwdriver. I've got daughters, they do stuff like that. Or a pair of scissors out my toolbox. And I looked and I just said, what? And my wife said, what is it? I said, somebody's at workshop. So she straight away thought we're got an intruder. So I said, no. And it just sort of disappeared out of sight. So she said, what was it? So it came back again while she's looking at the phone. And it looked like a person, except it was opaque. It moved across from my toolbox about 12 feet up to a door. And then it sort of came back again halfway and then went back to the door. And it looked opaque, sort of a mummy shape, so it was like a person's shape. It seemed to have earth spinning round it. And then as we were looking at it, it took off and started flying. So it's flying around the workshop. Back and forwards, like you wouldn't believe. The speed is nothing a fly can do, nothing a moth can do. The picture.
And you've got this on video?
Yeah.
I've downloaded it now.
I didn't get that one on video, Steve.
No, I've got it. I'm trying to convert it now. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, I didn't get that one on video because I have to press video and I was that busy looking at it. You know, it was so bizarre. My wife won't go in there since. But we get these things all the time. Similar things. So I've sent you pictures of an orb what's about 4 foot that's been up and down the workshop.
That's right.
And it's there on camera. I've sent you pictures of things flying. I can send you videos of things flying. They must be doing hundreds of miles an hour through the workshop. Yeah. So these are not moths. So a friend of mine is into all this kind of stuff, film editing and all this. Like, he did it at college. He doesn't do it anymore. So I was telling him about it. That's the only reason I've got these pictures, because I have hundreds of them come up on my phone all the time, 7 times a night. So I showed him.
It's a very good story and all that.
Yeah, he told me it was flies, it was moths, it was this, it was that. So I showed him and he said, I haven't got a clue what they are. I can't explain that. So the video I've sent you now,
I've got it.
is something
Right,
what flies past the camera backwards and forwards a few times. That's a horrific speed. You have to slow it down to see it sometimes. It goes behind the motorbike, round the motorbike, back towards the camera, up in the air, passes the camera and comes back again. And it goes past slowly. But as it's going past slowly, it then disappears really quick. Now the camera's about 9 foot off the floor, and it passes the camera next to it, for one. So if you can download the video, you tell me what you think it is. Now I've sent something else. The orbs, sometimes the bright lights, and they fly very quickly, and they fly fluently, and they fly round things, so they don't stop anywhere. They sort of fly. The only way I can explain it is sort of like a Spitfire. They're smooth and sleek.
Right, Dave,
Yeah?
I've got it here now, pal. I'll just play it now.
Okay.
Ready?
Well,
This is it.
all right. Go on,
Just
go on,
download
yeah.
it now. Ready?
Can you talk over it, Dave?
Yeah, I can. I'm not sure which
Right,
video I
yeah.
sent because trying to do them on thumbnails, the little tiny things. So watch the motorbike, what's in the middle of the screen with a white number plate on it. Firstly, to fly round the back of that, it just went past. You see it?
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. Well, watch it in a minute. It's gone up in the air as well. It's so fast you have to slow it down now.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Ah!
Now it tells you
Now we're
the time.
talking.
It tells you the time on that, and that happened about, I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. But it's normally we get them about 4:30. They wake me up. So obviously, I always think the burglars. There's about 20 bikes in there. So
Yeah.
Right, so that sets off the, that actually sets some off
well,
the
luckily
camera.
that had set off the trip switch. So because it's
Yeah.
set off the trip, that room is pitch black. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. That's on infrared or ultraviolet, whatever the fuck it is. It's on night vision.
Is that not dust particles interacting with the infrared light?
Is it what?
Dust
Is that
particles.
Is that not dust particles interacting with the light, or is there no
Yeah.
light in them?
If dust particles can go about 300 miles an hour, because if he plays it again, looks how fast it passes that bike.
Do it again. Let's see it again.
Yeah, do it again.
It's
I mean, yeah, but
it's
it
the
could
first
be.
one I want you to see, really, not the second one where it goes like misty. That's whatever it is, going very close to the
How many
camera.
did you send me, Dave?
I sent you some pictures as well.
I got the pictures. Let's have a look. I can't download the pictures the same. Oh, there it is. Can you see it? Watch it come across now. Watch it come now.
Well, no, it's not that. It's before that. It flies past the motorbike about 100 miles an hour
Yeah, I see that.
and goes round the motorbike and comes back again. I think it's going that fast. I don't think you can see it on this. But if anybody videos this and then slows it down, you'll see it.
What's
As
the
well
bit
as
then
that-
where it goes around the
that cloud-
motorbike?
In front of that mist, there's also 2 tiny little orbs what are travelling really quickly.
There isn't a boiler in there, Dave, by any chance, is there?
There's no boiler in there.
No boiler.
No one smokes in my house, and it's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, Dave,
Tell you
how
what, whatever it
long-
is, it's very interesting. This
It
nice
is
one, Dave,
interesting,
for
yeah.
bringing it on.
How long have you been? How long have you been seeing stuff for, Dave? Is it years, like?
Yeah. It's always in this house. A funny thing is, my neighbour.
Oh, it is good.
I was in a
that.
local pub, and my neighbour came up to me, and he's straight as a ex-serviceman, military man, stiff as a board. The kind of person who'd be a councillor, be a politician, be a police chief. And he said to me, "Have you seen the ghost?" So I looked at him. What? So he said, "Have you seen the ghost?" So I said, "What ghost?" So his missus then chirps in, and she said, "Well, there's the old lady and the little girl." So
Oh, for folks.
So I sort of went, no, I haven't, no. But there is some strange things what keep happening in my house. So anyway, then a guy knocks on my door. Now, bearing in mind, this is just an offbeat conversation, and it's just a laugh in the pub. About a year later, I'm washing my van outside my house, and a guy stops off at the gate, and he says to me, he said, "Before this house was here," he said, "I lived in the houses what was here." So, just out of interest, I'm talking to him, carry on washing my van. He said, "My grandma died here, and my younger sister.
Oh.
Now, that was about 3 years after the other guy had even mentioned them two.
Well,
Now,
yeah,
I mean,
but, I mean, people
Other
die
things
in
that-
houses all the time,
the
though,
time.
don't they? You know what I mean?
My daughter's had someone speak to her in her ear one morning when she was up early for work, and she only told me this a few days ago when we was on about this. It seems someone whispered something in her ear. Now, a bit like what the guy said earlier, I woke up and somebody's been stood at the bottom of my bed, and that's happened a few times.
Well, I've had something similar, like the freezing thing. I have it. It's basically I'm freezing. I've got my eyes open, and I've got like the Grim Reaper. He's slowly coming towards me, and I can't move, and I can't do fuck all. It's that sleep paralysis thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that 100% that's what that is, but it's fucking spooky when it first does it.
The thing is with them,
like I said, I'm not
sorry.
even into ghosts. I watch these ghost programs and I just think cameraman's throwing a stone. I don't believe a word they say. I'd rather you explain it than me say it's a ghost. But if you've seen the figure, what was swirling round,
I've got your pictures now, Dave.
Where you saw them three ghosts, where you saw them doors, the ghost or whatever it was, past them doors, went up to that main door there in the middle of the screen now, and then it came backwards. So I was looking at it. Now I thought it was a man-sized figure, and then a few days later,
I can't see what we're looking at here.
No, I'm struggling.
There's all kinds of things flying about the garage.
Yeah, you can't really make out that.
Well,
that
they're
one
going back, they're leaving trails. Now, you think about it, that's one camera picture. How fast is that going to do that?
What we're saying, that big white thing in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that there? Can you see that?
That just looks like a reflection off your number plate.
It does, yeah, it does.
Fair enough, I'll accept that, but it's got a reflection in the pitch black. Was it reflecting off? Look at the times, what they are.
It's on the actual camera. Does the camera itself force a light?
No, it's infrared.
Oh, it's infrared, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, the white one you're looking at there, if you look, that's caught it twice. It's two pictures of it. One there and then one straight after it. Whatever that is, it's bright and it's wide and it's...
So do we think that's some form of spirit or presence or something?
I don't think it's anything. You tell me what it is. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. Dave's saying that. He's saying he just saying he doesn't know what it is.
No, I'm saying I don't know what it is.
See, that's the thing, though. I mean,
red camera, it's got to be something, hasn't it?
Yeah,
have you done
there is.
Picture of the orb? There's an orb at the bottom, the other side of the garage, and it's about 4 foot tall. This orb. And it's not round. It's sort of snowman shaped, I'd call it. And it's hovering about 8 foot off the ground. And when that picture was taken, I went on my phone. There again, about 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30. I'm half asleep. I'm looking at it, and I watched it go down the garage, all the way down, floated down the garage. No, it floated about 40 feet.
Let's have a look at that picture again, Was.
Hold on, I'm just trying to see which one I've missed. Is it that one? I think it must be that one.
The other thing I'll tell you as well is when I was decorating.
There's no line, no reflection.
I was decorating once, Steve. And when you're sanding down and you got it's really dusty in the room. So there's dust everywhere. And there's all this dust in the room. I went up to disconnect the light because I was going to roller paint the ceiling. And as I'm disconnecting the light, when I looked down, I saw a figure walk through the dust from one side of the room, past me, and go to the door. And I watched this figure. It was like a real figure.
Wow. So before your house was there, and you said there was other houses there originally, and a woman.
There was 4
and a
houses that got knocked down, and then my house was built.
What was there before the 4 houses? Is there any of that kind of burial site or an old graveyard or something, from the hundreds of years ago?
Possibly anything, because I've dug a lot of stone up when I've been doing the gardens and cobbles and all kinds of stuff, so there was something here.
Yeah.
It's a good one, but...
I could probably give you 60 pictures, just as bizarre as them. All I was doing was, when I was trying to send them you then, I was looking on, there was size of my fingernail, little fingernails, and I'm popping on them. So I just picked them at random. So you can imagine,
Yeah.
I can just pick them at random. There's a
So-
video.
so
about 6
Has
videos.
anything been rearranged in your garage like overnight or
Yeah,
something? You know, you put
yeah,
a
my
certain
daughter.
tool down and then it's disappeared and it's popped up on another shelf or something.
I've got kids.
Can you imagine that? Like some ghost of an interior designer.
Right. My middle daughter.
Feng Shui, a
17.
Feng Shui fucking ghost.
What's that guy's name off fucking changing rooms with a big flowery fucking cups?
Can you
What's his
imagine
name,
that?
Lawrence, whatever.
Yeah,
Lawrence
Lawrence-
Llewellyn fucking Boyd coming visiting in the night.
Can you
Oh, I
imagine
don't
that?
like the Feng Shui on that, pal.
Yeah, can you imagine you come down one morning and everything's like, what the? Everything's completely Feng Shui, it's all Feng Shui.
Looking
So
Carol
what
Smiley's
do we
still at the
think
end of
there
your
could
bed.
be then?
I said my middle daughter, her bedroom, she tells me that things, when her friends are in there, and there's a bunch of giddy girls in there, 17, 18 years old, things fly off the shelves.
Have you never
She's
thought of
seen
getting
it.
a priest in to like what they call it, not exercise? You know what I mean?
I've told you
Yeah, an
there's-
exorcism.
There's
Exorcism.
nothing scary about it. The only figure I've seen here is the figure stood at the bottom of the bed, and it was an open door, and there was a light on behind it, and it was a dark figure. I wasn't imagining it. I'm not prone to this kind of stuff. I don't.
Were you asleep? At what stage of
I just woke.
in the
I
bed
just
were
woke
you?
up and I looked at it for about a couple of minutes.
See, I've had that. I've had the sleep paralysis because I used to get it a lot. I have really
I'd put
vivid
that down,
dreams.
yeah.
I'm a proper lucid dreamer. Me, I have loads of weird stuff in my dreams.
Well,
And I
all
used to
can
have
tell
one
you-
that happened. I used to have one that happened a few times.
Yeah,
where
but what
I'd be in my bed.
You've
Yeah, but I'd be in my bed.
You've completely forgot it by dinner time, and this was 20 years ago, and I can still remember it. If not 30 years ago.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can still remember it.
I can remember dreams when I was about 5.
Yeah. But
Oh,
I had
sorry.
this one.
I
I had
can
this
remember.
one though, Dave. I had this one. It was like I was in my bed, and I was like, like sleeping, and then I felt the bottom of my bed go down. Do you know, like when somebody's getting on the edge of your bed?
Yeah.
And then they were crawling up my bed, coming to me, and I was like awake, but I couldn't move, and I was like, oh my god, and I was like, just move. I couldn't open my eyes, and I could feel it right upon me, and then finally I'd be like, and I've sussed after years of this. I know what it is. I'm still dreaming. I haven't woke up,
Right.
and I think that's what a lot of it is. I think you're still dreaming. I think you think.
Oh well, I was awake at the time.
Yeah, but that's what I kept having. I kept having that, and I kept.
You think you're awake.
You think
Yeah.
you're awake.
The dream is that. The dream I have with the spiders going across me. I'm dreaming that I'm awake,
Yeah.
and I'm like looking at the spider running across my chest, and then I jump up because I think I'm awake, but I realise, oh no, wait a minute, I was actually asleep. But the
You
dream is
drink a
so
lot.
real, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I said you
I've
two
had-
drink a lot, and I don't drink. The second
No,
one-
I've had this. before
I
drunk.
don't dream when I drink. When I drink, I don't dream.
Right.
Yeah. Seriously.
The second one was on that video. There's a door, and that door goes into a workshop. Now that door was open, and I saw a man stood in the door. I just saw the back of him, and then he disappeared. I was about 30 feet away at the bottom of the workshop, so I hurried because I wondered why everything's locked inside. This is inside completely the building, so the outside doors are locked. I'm at the other side, and I looked round and saw a man. So obviously, I'm concerned. So I ran 40 feet across the workshop to where the man was, who'd gone through the door. Now, there was no one there, and I searched the place, and there's not that many places to hide. And this was a guy, a good 6 foot tall guy, and he'd gone. And I couldn't find him. And I searched everywhere, under everything, behind everything. I'd seen someone that clearly. This was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I couldn't explain it. I've never even mentioned that to anybody until today, because it didn't freak me out. I was more concerned, where the hell's this guy gone?
Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
door where everything seems to go and come from. To be honest, in the workshop, it's a strange one.
I've got a bit of a problem with it all as well. How come they're always very iffy at the best? Like, I mean, it's brilliant what you're showing us, but how come we don't just clearly see a bloody ghost? How come it's always wow?
Well, it was a ghost. Looked like a
Well, I presume a person, because a lot of people say the people, the ghosts of people, you know.
Well, a lot of people said they're a spirit, and what's a spirit look like? Or a
Exactly.
soul?
No,
Yeah,
I know what you're saying there, but then you get other people saying, like you've already said, you've seen people, you've already seen people, and all that, blah, blah. So it's humans we're talking about. How come the evidence we're seeing isn't
Yeah.
clearly
And the
a
thing
clear
is,
evidence?
because
There's never clear evidence ever.
I did
it's
tell you, I'm not
not.
saying anything what's scary. Nothing's ever scared me whatsoever. I'll go in the workshop now, go in the gym, and it won't bother me one little bit. There's nothing here to scare me. The girls have been a bit freaked, but they don't. When they're telling me, when they were telling me the tales of a day of things flying about, they're not scared. They only, even my
I would
daughter,
be.
youngest daughter came the other day with a baby. She lives somewhere else, and we mentioned this, and I said I was trying to send you the video at the time. And that's the one who said, I was down here one morning going to work early. She said, and this voice whispered in my ear. She said she jumped round, looked, and thought, well, somebody's out of bed. And I said, about. She said, everybody was asleep. It was like 5:30 in the morning. And she said there was nobody else about. No reason to make the story up. She's not that way. She doesn't make tales, never has done. Like I said, she's straight like me. I've not said these are ghosts. I've just said I don't know what they are. But you should look
Yeah, I know
into
that.
thick,
Yeah, no, I mean, no, it's brilliant seeing them. It's
you're looking into
exciting.
thick white
It's good
things
trying to
on
work it out.
workshop. It's obviously not a fly. It's not a bug. It's not a butterfly or a moth.
Well, no, it could be though. It still could be.
no, there's lots of things that it could be. Definitely, you know. I mean, I know it's we don't know what it is, but it's that thing again. When something mysterious happens, it doesn't have to be a ghost, does it?
I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think again, we're looking for the. You're looking as though you want to see a human form. And
well, we want to see proof. That's all. Whatever it is.
No, sorry, Steve. What you're saying? I've not seen a proper ghost though. What do you? If you're looking for something like with a white towel on, walking right? I don't know. I don't know what a proper ghost looks like. I don't know what a proper ghost
an example
looks like.
of what people have talked about, like a human form.
So I think some may not be,
and literally one that maybe goes through the door, the wall, but there's clearly filmed where there's no way it can be checked out and everywhere that it has to be a type of ghost.
Yeah.
There's none of that. There's never any. It's always fake. It's always clearly faked or.
Well, that woman.
You know what I'm saying? Basically, there is no proof whatsoever.
No,
anywhere.
this woman, the woman I was telling you about story about. Do you know when it turned out she was having carbon monoxide poison and all that? So she's now a proper scientist that looks into this, and she goes round debunking. She'll look into these stories. She goes in for exorcisms, and they'll go in, like undercover type thing, and watch out for tricks to do, and they'll expose them, saying, "No, you're conning people" and stuff like that. And they do the same with the ghosts. And she says, you went in, and she said, you'd expect something like 9 out of 10 times, science can prove what it is. She says, but it's not that. She says, it's actually 10 out of 10 times science proves what it is. Every time we've gone in, we've looked at it, we've investigated, and we've found out what it was. And that's the thing. There's never been any proof whatsoever. I mean, there's been loads of scientific work done on ghosts and investigating it. And they've never found anything, any proof. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not belittling anybody.
Can you speak to Carlos here? I'm not Kenny off South Park. I'm a ghost. All right.
How you doing, Carlos? Good to have you here, pal. What's he called?
Carlos said before it were farts as well. I noticed that.
Yeah. 2021, phones, cameras, and all sorts to capture ghosts, and nothing. Come on, at some point we have to admit Santa isn't real.
So what do we make of the strange goings on in the Bermuda Triangle then?
There is no.
They've all been proved. They've
all been proven. Them. The Bermuda Triangle's totally been proven. Everything on that. It's.
But again, as kids, that was an exciting story, weren't it?
I was well exciting. I totally believed it as a kid.
We loved that shit as a kid.
Yeah. I absolutely believed that. I watched. There was a film on as well back then. It's 70s. Do you know when you used to go to the cinema? And you watch a film, because my dad told me to watch Warlords of Atlantis. And then back in the day, they used to put a film on before. They put a film on before, and it was about the Bermuda Triangle. And it was like a proper documentary film. And then it's all bollocks. It was all absolute utter shite. Do you know what I mean? The whole idea of it being a triangle is just bollocks. If you went anywhere else in the world, it's all like the same. Oh, it's so disappointing. That's the worst thing. Because I was so fascinated by all that stuff as a kid. Do you know, like, oh my God. So then you look into it, and then I looked into it all, and I still do now. And I look into it all, and then you just find it's all bollocks. I think that's why I'm like I am, Ray. It's because I've really looked into lots of stuff, and and then you just find out that life isn't. People can't accept things to be so massive and grand and happen for no reason. Do you know what I mean? Something weird. It has to be something spectacular rather than something.
Wars always spoils it. Have you noticed? He always spoils it.
Well, that goes back to what Ray was saying before again, though, nothing about being conditioned as children and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Throughout life and stuff.
Yeah, that's because just stories. I mean, the idea of the bogeyman is just keep your kids under control, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's why we have, oh, don't go down there, you know, because kids won't be told off, but frighten them, and they won't go there, will they? You know, the old classic
good and evil, bribing children, big hood and you'll get Christmas presents, big hood and you'll get toffee.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's the best way to get kids to do something, scare the shit out of them, or beat them, kids. And John says, my mum, who's been dead 23 years, has spoken to me in my sleep a few times and woken me up, mainly when I've got to get up for a flight, etc. I don't know if it's my inner conscience or what. Yeah, I would say it is, John. I'd say that you're worried about that flight, and then what, you know, like association, worrying. Who's the best to comfort you when you're worrying? It's your mum, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? When you're worried, you always go to your mum, don't you? You know.
That 23 numbers really stuck with me, John, and I'm moving to a house. I'm moving to a house in Southport. Guess what number it is?
47.
11.
32. 32.
No, it's 23. It is.
I'd have put you over 33, me, Steve. I could understand that. Definite 33.
What for?
You know what that is, don't you?
Jesus
You know what that is, don't you?
It's when Jesus died.
33.
I'm Bill.
Oh, come on. We'll not go there then. Forget that one. Forget that one.
No, go on. What's 33, Ray?
33. That's the high-ranking Freemasonry, right at the top. 33.
That's also when Jesus died. Jesus
So
died.
High-ranking Freemason. The Freemasons.
Also, it's also 3.3 seconds before I do this. Fuck off, Ray!
See what I mean? These are what you class as rigid belief systems. You've got very rigid belief systems. Pair of you. You've got to open up a little.
I really do want to, Ray. I so want stuff to be true. That's the thing.
No, you don't. I bet you didn't even watch them videos I sent you. Bet you didn't even watch them.
What videos?
That's what I mean. Yeah. Steve not passed them to you.
Oh, he's shy.
I started. Sorry, Ray. I messaged you just before. Literally,
I know. I
started watching it. Then was rung me.
He's absolutely shy with that, Ray. We have an email address, Ray. Send it to that, and I can put it up, pal.
It's not about this. It was about the other thing we did.
Yeah.
No, we always send stuff, Ray. Though we'll always put it up.
No, well, please. You'll have to give me my email address, and then I can. I can send it to you.
I did put it up earlier on, actually.
Prince Andrew didn't kill himself. Is that like one of the next year thing?
No, he's still alive, you dick.
Is that premonition?
No, he's still alive. That's what he's saying. He didn't kill himself. He's still alive.
Okay.
I
could send it to you. I could send you stuff on Messenger, but I don't know what your name is. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Oh, it's there. The steelwashshow@gmail.com. I'm going to try and cop. There it is. Oh, there it is. That's it there. The steelwashshow@gmail.com.
Okay.
Anybody has any videos, all right? You want to send them to that email address there, and we'll, if you want to show us, right, like that. No Rudy Tooties, and we'll put it all up. And I'm not a party. See, that's the thing, though.
He's a party pooper. No. Sorry about Warren. He's a party pooper. Let's just pretend for a bit. Let's just pretend.
I know. But the thing is I loved all that when I was a kid. I really did. And I was always really curious and think, what about this? So I'd look into it all. And oh god! And then as I've gone older, I keep doing it because I always love learning about stuff and all that. And it's just.
I'm
You
very,
see,
I'm very relieved to
But
not
science
believe
is
in
good.
God.
I love science though. That's what I love. Hey,
I
science
know,
is
but the
exciting.
problem right. Yeah, it's
No, go on, Ray. Yeah.
No, go on, Ray.
but it's really difficult, isn't it? Because I'm not saying these things are real or not, but what I will say for sure, I can tell you 100% I believe this. People in general are very heavily conditioned with the belief systems.
Yeah,
We've been
right.
Oh,
very
yeah,
heavily
that's
conditioned with
absolute,
our
mate.
belief systems. And therefore, it's very hard for us to actually think about other things on a different. We'll just say, oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And it's only because we've been conditioned with certain belief systems. That's it.
Yeah,
If you
sorry, I'm
went to
laughing at
India and had a conversation with
that.
somebody in India, they'd tell you a different story.
Yeah, no, exactly. But that's the thing, though. It's I was baptized. I didn't have any freaking choice. You know what I mean? And then I heard all the God and everything and all that. But as I got older, I've gone the complete opposite, Ray. Completely unconditioned.
What
I
about
love
this?
learning.
What about this for a connection? I could safely be pretty sure again. I'll be running down, streak my pants down. That most people believe in ghosts will believe in conspiracies as well.
Exactly.
Of course
Yeah,
they
yeah.
will.
So
Okay, you
why
know
is there a
why?
connection? It's a connection to a belief system. It's a completely different
Patterns. It's
thing.
patterns
No,
as
it's
well, Steve.
not. No, it's not,
It
Steve.
is. It's a
It's
completely
not.
different
Because
thing.
I disagree with that. Of course, most conspiracy theories, as you call them, would connect maybe more with things like that. Purely
But why is
because,
that then?
well, bear with us. Purely
Sorry.
because those people are willing. They're willing to look at different belief systems, where some people won't do. You've got very rigid beliefs, and they just dismiss everything. Like there was an argument going on the other day in a shop. I won't bore you with it all,
No, go on, Ray.
but basically, just to sort of reinforce what I'm
Good
saying.
night, John.
In the end, this guy said, he said, "What a load of bollocks! If that were true, it'd be all over the news." That's what he said. So his belief system were telling him that everything in reality is shown on the news.
No,
Where
I
I
agree
think
there.
I
There's an
believe
element of
I
that. There's
know
an element
opposite
of
to that. They tell you fuck all. Sorry, whoa, man, I don't like
The
swearing.
news
They tell you
is there
nothing.
just to frighten you.
Don't like
The
it,
news
Steve. I
is
don't
there to
like it.
control you and
They,
frighten you, to control the
they
masses,
tell you,
the people.
Google is part of the conspiracy. 100% they are. 100%. 100% whoever just put that up.
Why is Google part of the conspiracy?
Because that'll lead us on to the discussion we were having the other day, and you might not want to go there. But yes, they are. 100%. 100% they are. 100%.
History has
Whoever
always
put that
been
up.
written by winners.
Yes, absolutely. There's no two ways about that. History is written by the victors. Absolutely. Not
History has
everything can
always
be
been written
proven.
by winners.
Or Jan says, not everything can be proven. Sometimes there can be no explanations, but that's my view. Yeah,
Correct.
I agree
That's
with that.
another one. That's another one. You can't prove everything.
No, you can't.
Just because you can't prove it, it don't mean it doesn't exist. You keep saying, was no disrespect. You keep saying, yeah, but when you look at the science, and I keep thinking, which sciences was referring to? Your perception of science.
Well, no,
I could take you to another scientist who tell you something completely different.
Yeah, but
So
no,
we can't keep. Sorry, well, bear with me one sec. You can't keep saying the science. Whose science are we talking about? Because there's lots of different scientists with all different opinions. So we can't just say the science like Chris Whitty keeps saying, or whoever. You can't keep saying that because there's different scientists with different views.
Well, there's
Just
definitely an
like we
element
have
of truth
different
to
views.
that.
Yeah,
if anything, this
I'll take responsibility
pandemic
for
has
it.
proven
It was
that.
me. I'm the science.
What's that, Baz?
I said, I'll take responsibility for it. Then it was me. I'm the scientist.
Well, there you go, see.
Baz is the science. Hey, guys, Baz, that's your new
Made
registration
it all
plate.
up in a truck.
That's your new registration plate, that, Baz. I am the science.
I am the science.
No,
John
but
wants to know, do we know where the term conspiracy theorist came from? I think we've talked about it, haven't we?
Yeah.
It came from when Kennedy was assassinated and the CIA invented it. to sort of in a derogatory sort of term. But you know what? Now you know what I have. I have a baseball cap, and it's covered in tin foil. And I wear that. I'll be wearing it on Saturday. I'll be wearing it on Saturday when I go to the demo as well. And I'll have my tin foil hat conspiracy theory.
What demo are you going to, Ray?
Don't stand near the queue.
They're marching all over UK on Saturday. I'm going to Manchester.
And what's it for? Sorry, explain.
It's against what's going on, what we spoke about the other week.
About the
pandemic
COVID
thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I have not been watching any news, and it's like COVID doesn't exist. It's just unbelievable.
And I'm kind of the opposite. I've had the radio on the last few days, and it's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
it really
honestly,
is.
God, with me, just while we're talking about that now, I was supposed to be on course and everything, but I have not been watching any news at all, right? No news at all. And honestly, God, it's like COVID doesn't exist anymore. It's brilliant. It really
because it never did. Because
you put the news on, and there's a version, one other story somehow gets round to is get the jab. That's for sure. Whatever the story is, it's get the jab or you're a cunt.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you just sent them videos to us, if you just sent them videos to us, I think that would have been personally. I might be wrong. I think they'd be quite enlightening to him. But I will send them to that email address.
Send them to that, Ray will put them on
show. But you've got to watch them. You've got to watch them.
I promise, Ray, I'll watch them. I promise I will. He's only got him tonight. He's shit. Don't send him anything.
He's had him for about 2 weeks.
That's how shit he is. He's proper shit. That's why he's in disguise with his lot. Ray, send him to that. If you send him to that email, Ray, and we'll get him on, pal, and we'll talk about that.
Okay, bud. Okay.
Coincidentally, while we're slightly on the subject, me and Woz had a pissed up Saturday night, didn't we? We watched the JFK.
We're saying that for JFK talk.
Just have a little. While we're here, we watched the JFK.
The new one from Oliver Stone.
Yeah. But we are going to have a JFK night, so
Ray, okay.
Ray, have you watched the Oliver Stone one? It's called
Through the
Looking Glass. Have you seen it? Right.
What's it called? Sorry, give it me again, Steve. What's it called?
It's Through the Looking Glass.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's it's his documentary. It's his documentary.
Okay.
And it's
that's Oliver Stone, is it?
Yeah, all new evidence, and all this lot. And
okay.
Me and Steve have a bit of about it. Rizza says you can't prove everything, granted, but science can help to prove almost everything out there. Exactly. That's the best thing about science is they love not knowing. That's the best thing about science is.
Yeah, as long as they're not being funded by certain people, if you know what I mean. Science is fine, but you have to look at the scientists as well.
That's totally true, that, Ray. Bang on there, mate. Bang on.
Do agree with that, yeah.
This whole thing is really fucked up. What we're supposed to think science tests are and everything, because before it's like, oh, well, you do a test. There's a science experiment.
There's an orb on my camera. Then you see it. You see that orb there?
That statement.
We're going to do a thing on stopping smoking as well, Barry. Anyway, that's another.
That comment what age just put up there.
Experiment. It's supposed to be 100%. That's the idea of the whole experiment. What we've seen from the news and all these scientists from left, right, up, down, fucking everywhere, sadly proves that doesn't fully work anymore.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, stop. Now you can stop.
Well,
it depends
let me finish. Carry on.
It depends what you're talking about, doesn't it? With the COVID, that's a very valid point because we have nothing on that. But science is very solid on certain things, you know what I mean? But on COVID, I totally agree. The science and the experts is all over the show. I totally agree with that.
But does that not make you think that, well, if it's like that with COVID, why is it not like that with other things then now?
Because it is.
It is. You know what I mean?
Because it is. And that's my point. It's not just about COVID.
I agree with Ray here.
It's not just about COVID. It isn't just about COVID.
COVID
has brought it to light to you. You wouldn't have thought that before as much. But now it's in your face. Now you're seeing it. Now you're seeing it. What the shit? What's going on here? And then you start to question other things.
How
And
long
that's
have
what
we
it's
had
doing.
COVID? How long have we had COVID for?
2 years.
That's not a long time in science research, is it? They don't
No.
do short. They don't. Science fact isn't based on a two. They don't even understand COVID properly.
It's quite a long time to be bullshitting.
depends on
No,
the
it's
experiment.
not for science. No, it isn't. And science changes all the time. Facts change.
Depends on the experiment was.
Yeah, no, but
Not
I'm saying.
everything's about time scale.
Yes, of course it is.
No, it isn't.
Because
Experiments always on about time scales. You can do all the experiments in the lab.
Steve, they change
When you're at
facts.
school, you do all the experiments, yeah? It's not,
Yeah.
you don't have to do it for 2 years. You can do experiments there, and it proves that whatever you're proving, you can do it.
How do you prove that with a virus then that keeps changing?
No, I'm not. It's not on about that. I'm on about science and tests and science in general.
Yeah.
It's not all about timescales.
No, but the longer you study something,
What I'm agreeing with Ray's here, though, is the point that as much as before we've believed in a scientific experiment, all this COVID things has proved that we can be told an experiment. Oh, this is that, so and this is the result, right? Yeah, we believe that. Now they go, oh no, there's another scientist that's done another experiment. Oh, fucking hell, where are we now?
Yeah, no, but things get better. They get better at things, though, don't they? They'll start doing that, and they say, "Oh no, this is what it is, and this," and then they'll be like, "Oh no, head on, what it is, it could be this." But don't forget.
Don't get me wrong. I'm still totally with the science thing. That's all we've got. But what this thing has proved us is there is flaws to it.
Of course it is. That's why science changes. That's why when they've had like science from the 1930s and stuff like that,
it's never absolute. It's never absolute.
It's never absolute. It changes all the time.
That isn't the point, though. I'm not. Do you get what I'm saying? With my point is, it isn't about the actual experiment. It's the fact that we can be twisted with the experiments. The results we get aren't always the truth.
No.
We can only trust to a certain. You've got to trust to a certain thing.
Yeah, the vaccine.
Nanny knows best.
Yeah. The vaccine was pushed down her throat.
Yeah,
absolutely no two ways about that. There's no two ways about that.
It's being done.
Yeah, like I said, there was nothing on health and stuff like that. Look after yourself, vitamin D, all that. There's none of that, was there? Sorry, go on, Ray.
Well, you listen to those videos which I'll send you, and then come back to me about this science. Come back to me on another time about the science, because science is.
No, absolutely, Ray. Totally will do.
Anyway, should we go back to ghosts? If there's any got any more ghost stories while we're here on ghosts.
Head on, let me just read some comments out here. Ray's right. If you're open-minded, you're open-minded. It's about how the cerebral cortex interacts with your hippocampus. Science is an ever-changing project. Yeah. Oh, Rizza says it's not. Rizza says you don't judge based on one occurrence. Rizza's getting there. He's getting there. You don't judge based on one occurrence. You effing lemmings. Ray's correct. Mundo, brainwashing machines, TVs, I mean. Yes, and then Dean says, I'm a cunt. Lloyd Rothschild says, who shot Kennedy? Oswald or multiple shooters from multiple angles? Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Weren't Oswald, mate. It wasn't Oswald.
I don't know. We'll talk about that. Me and Steve have our own little theories on that. We'll get on to that. Oh, well done, James is here. Paradigmatic shifts and falsifications. Science and beliefs change every day. Oh,
correct.
Yes, they do. They totally do. Yeah. Our Janet says, just a question. Sorry, when I say our Janet, she's me, Auntie Janet. Just a question. Can premonitions be proved? I knew someone who would be visiting that day, and they would visit. Back then, they had no phones. The only way to know was by letter, and the person's visiting never same one. Yeah, but there is coincidence, our Janet.
I knew Janet was going to write that.
Yeah. They can't be
telepathy.
They can't be proved, but that can happen.
Of course, it can happen. It can definitely happen. Everything, absolutely everything, can happen. There's no.
Barry,
I think I've got a fantastic connection with you.
Wait a minute, Ray. Barry,
I do too, Ray.
Speaking of the word now.
Sorry.
Barry, speaking of the word now. You say it.
I know what it is.
Right.
Go on.
After 3, we'll say it. 1,
23.
2. No, it was nonce. Have you not seen the piece of cake then?
I'm looking at you and I'm getting the word nonce. I've suddenly turned into Clinton Baptiste off Phoenix. I'm feeling the presence. It's strong over here.
How's Dave doing? We haven't heard from Dave really. Are you all right? You still there, Dave? Oh, his mic switched off. But yeah. So,
Dave, how you doing, mate?
do you want to
You
hear a
there?
ghost story? Do you want to hear a ghost story?
Go on.
Yeah,
Right then, ghost
Let's get
story.
back on subject.
Right, yeah.
go on.
A couple of months ago, my friend's cousin, a single mother, bought a new cell phone. After a long day of work, she came home, placed her phone on the counter, and went to watch TV. Her son came to her and asked if he could play with her new phone. She told him not to call anyone or mess with text messages, and he agreed. At 11:20, she was drowsy, so she decided to tuck her son in and go to bed. She walked to his room and saw that he wasn't there. She then ran over to her room to find him sleeping on her bed with the phone in his hand. Relieved, she picked up her phone back up from his hand to inspect it. Browsing through it, she noticed only minor changes, such as a new background, banner, etc. But then, she opened up her saved pictures, and she began deleting the pictures he had taken until only one new picture remained. When she first saw it, she was in disbelief. It was her son sleeping on her bed, but the picture was taken by someone else above him, and it showed the left half of an elderly woman's face.
Is that it? That was shit.
Fuck off. That was a good one, that.
Rubbish.
His
See, you're
granny
the
died.
party pooper. Have you got somebody? Have I got anyone good?
Sorry, Dave, I muted you then because you were all crackling.
Yeah, Dave, you're a bit
Right,
crackly. Are
can
you
you
working
know?
out in your gym?
Or is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can hear you now. Is
Sorry.
it really Dave, or is it the
Entity.
Listen, what I wanted to say, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What I wanted to say is JFK thing. I know quite a lot about it, but what I am into is guns. I go shooting a lot and I have a lot of guns.
Right, stop there right now. Next Wednesday we'll do JFK.
Yeah, Dave, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Save
Right.
that, Dave. Dave, save
Can I
that
just
for
make
next
this point?
Wednesday.
Can I just make this point?
Go on.
So I know a lot about guns. So I know everything about the gun. I can tell you it's a 31 carbine, it's a Carcara, it's Italian. I can tell you what ammunition. I can tell you what scope he used. So I can I'm sort of an expert on the gun, and I'd never hear anybody talk about the gun because it matters. If you're going to say somebody shot something from 286 yards, it was 81 meters.
No, there's a lot about the gun, Dave. There's a lot about the gun.
There's a lot about the gun on that new one.
Is there?
Yeah,
I've seen other
yeah.
things about the gun as well.
Well,
They said it was a bolt action rifle, didn't they? So you've got to keep.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely, Dave. Save
will
that
say-
for next Wednesday when we do JFK.
If you can, maybe watch the new documentary on
Yeah,
what's
watch
it
that.
called?
Through the
called?
looking glass. Through the looking glass, it's called. Yeah,
I've seen the video slowed down of him getting shot, and the first one it comes through his neck,
Yeah.
and the second one blows his head completely off at the back.
That's right. Yeah. But the difference
Let's
is,
see,
and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll leave that one for Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, JFK.
We'll do the JFK. Dave, if you
Yeah.
have any evidence, like photographs and stuff like, do you know what to do with the JFK? No, I mean, do you know, if you want me to, if you're
not
talking
that
about it, no.
It weren't me. I didn't do it.
Do you know, if there's anything like ballistics you want to show while you're talking, send it to me and I can put them up for you, pal. That's all.
I was on the grassy knoll that day, but I didn't see anything.
I didn't say anything there, but it's always worth when his gun's going off all over the show, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
He mentioned something earlier, and he was on about manipulating data over this COVID. And I watch PMQs every afternoon. When Boris is on, he's doing PMQs. I watch it. It's just something I do when I'm working. And today he didn't only come out with quite a few things what was complete lies, but other MPs pulled him on data, and they pulled him off data from the National Office of Statistics. And they came out with one thing, and Boris just completely dismissed it and said he was following the science. Now,
Right, stop here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you trying to tell me now that the politicians are lying?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Right, we should do a show on that. So politicians lie.
Yeah.
Oh, bullshit. It's why I don't fucking follow it.
Steve, let him finish. Steve, let him finish. Sorry, go on, Dave.
Is, when they put data forward, which is true data from his own Office of National Statistics, he dismisses it and goes for so-called science, which we know has been wrong for 2 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's been a definite agenda with their so-called science, definitely. But
So
don't forget, you can't be too surprised by a man who was holding parties whilst telling the rest of the country to go in lockdown.
No, that was done purposely. That was done purposely. You're falling for it. You're all going for it. This is what I mean. You've got to look at a bigger picture. Well, I'll tell out there. That's for a complete. Because that's for a complete. I think you should carry another one of them. Because this is not going to stop. This is not going to stop. If you think COVID and everything what's going on and everything's going to go hunky-dory, it's not. It's going to go worse. It's going to go worse. I'm telling you now.
I do think maybe once a month or 5 or 6 weeks.
COVID update. We'll have a COVID update.
Make sure you do, because just watch what happens and all the rest of the bullshit what starts, and it'll get worse. People think now it's going to, everything's getting better because Boris is going to get punched out, which he will do, and I always knew he would do, even before now. Well, I think he will. The next election or whatever, another leader will come in. But I'm telling you now, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm telling you now, I don't mean that. You watch what happens. You watch what happens in the next few months. And if people think, as this is getting all nice and quiet and peaceful, which it is, it's the calm before the storm. That's what I believe.
You think we're going to have a...
And Rizzler, no, wait till next Wednesday, because it's not what you think we think on the Oliver Stone thing.
Yeah, Rizzler, Rizzler, next Wednesday we'll talk about that, pal. And don't worry, pal. It's we just said we watched a documentary, Rizzler. We didn't necessarily say we agreed with it, bud. You know what I mean? Me and Steve watched it and was like, what? So, that's next Wednesday. What's our Janet say? When I was a student nurse working a placement on nights, I had to go down into the dormitory to do checks. On going to one side, suddenly there was a figure dressed in a ward sister's uniform. When I walked up near her, she turned and moved away, then went to another part and just disappeared through the wall. Frightened me no end.
There you go, because Janet connects. Janet connects, you see. That's what
I just remember the ghost story. My sister Wendy used to tell me. See, I don't know if it's a story. This is the story she told me anyway. Her and her friends, when they were like students back in Southport, they worked in like a hospital, with the dead bodies downstairs and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for a laugh, they bet one of them to stay downstairs in the morgue with the people for a laugh. And then they changed one of the bodies for one of the friends, underneath the white cloth.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever, an hour or so in, he sat there, scared. And the guys jumped up and he's done the big boo. And he said he ended up he was that scared, he went mental. He's freaked him out. And he's still in a mental hospital to this day. It's a lot of bollocks in it, Wendy. I fucking do it when I repeat it now.
Bollocks.
But as a kid, it stuck with me oh my god, it shocked me that much. He went mental.
I used to know a fellow who worked as a paramedic, and he told me that he worked in Ormskirk. This fellow, they were in Ormskirk Hospital. He said, and in the morgue, they used to get at the time. They used to get new coppers. They used to fetch him down into the morgue and say, we'll show you what a dead body looks like, type of thing. And he said this copper came in. He said, and one of the morgue staff was in the actual thingy with the sheet over him. And as he opened the door, he jumped out, he went, frightened him to death, and he was shit scared, this copper. And he said, they calmed him down. He says, right, your mate's coming down in a minute. Do you want to get in and do the same to him? So he said, yeah. So he got on the bed, apparently. on the slab. They put the sheet over him, closed the thing, and they left him there for about 5 minutes. And just as he's getting a bit restless, the other mortician just went like, "Harry, it's fucking cold in here, isn't it?" And he wouldn't come back down again, like, no, blinded to fucking death. Like, fucking cold in here, isn't it? Yeah. True that. This guy told me that term, like,
I could totally imagine that happening. Somebody doing that. That's proper funny. That.
Do you know what I remembered as well?
Death.
When this story's being told, it's like, and then whoever was pretending to be the dead body, they had to like burp and fart and like make because they say because the body still does it when it's dead. I'm thinking, what does it? It just made the story more believable. All right. Like a scientific fact to the story would make you think, well, it must be true.
Have you ever been that scared? Do you know that scared where you're almost you keep looking at it because you can't understand it? Like, do you remember when we were working at up at the Twaits' house, Big Twaits' house at Mellor there?
Yeah.
You know, the big old Victorian house, weren't it? And down in the cellar. Do you remember the cellar?
Oh, yeah, we used to go down there as kids and that, yeah.
We had that. No, when we were working there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. But they had their masks. Remember that horrible, freaky mask that we had? We used to send people down.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Do you remember? We had that because it was all like brick wall, wasn't it? All little.
Who had the mask?
Who had it? Because we used to go and. Oh God, yeah. And do you know when you have you ever been that frightened? Do you know when you're like, oh my God, and you just it's like you're paralyzed almost, but your brain's trying to understand the fear and trying to make sense of it. You know what I mean? Oh God, I love being frightened. I really do. I really like being frightened. No, I do. I love it. I really do. But like, do you know when I've always had that one. Say I want to wee in the middle of the night, so I'm coming downstairs and there's no lights on. But you can just barely make out something, can't you? And imagine seeing a figure. I remember imagine seeing a figure. I remember saying I was in bed when I lived in Nottingham with this girl. So we're in bed together, and she had there's a street light near a bedroom window, and she had a curtain shut. And she lived by herself. She had her own house. So we're laid in bed, and we're looking, just talking. I says, "Can you imagine?" Right? I said, "Just imagine you're here by yourself." And then all of a sudden you see something go past the window. And then you realise it's on the inside. And I was just imagining myself just chuckling away. And I looked over and she was looking like, why have you said that? I live on my own, you total asshole. You know what I mean? I was just imagining it like, you know. Oh, and when I had that dream, do you remember Alison I used to live with? Oh God! Right, I always have really lucid dreams, and I had this dream. I was right. So I was in bed. I'm laid on my back, and I looked over to Alison, this girl I was living with, and she was laid on her side with her back to me like that. And I was just looking at her like that, and she went, "Ah!" And she was a fucking werewolf. And I went,
I remember you telling me this story.
And I woke up like that. And I looked over, and she's laid on her side with her fucking back to me. And I was like,
I've had that dream as well, but it was a different outcome, believe me.
Was it a man?
Was it Alison?
What about that story where you were shagging her from behind and dog come and lick your bollocks? Let's get back into ghosts. Let's not go there.
I walk up with 3 werewolves, but I've never gone to bed with an ugly woman.
Oh dear.
He trained
right, on that note, I'm gonna get off, guys.
Yeah, we better wind it up. No, we're not really
okay, guys, thanks very much. Been great being with you guys. Don't forget, when I send you them videos, watch them.
Mate.
I promise, Ray, I promise I'll watch them, Ray. I promise I'll watch them, and then we'll do it. We'll do something about
you guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave. See you, Buzz.
Dave, thanks a lot.
I'm gonna get away, guys. I'm recording tomorrow.
Stay, get him fucked off. Stay fucking off.
Fuck off, Buzz. Ray knows what is coming down.
See ya.
Ain't no conspiracy. Anyway, sorry. Dave, it's your first fucking off.
Just before you go, when we were kids, we have a cemetery across the road from my house. Big cemetery, in the middle of it, there's a little chapel, stone chapel. And they used to use it when we was kids. And underneath it is a crypt. So when you go up to it, there's a back door, and there's some steps going up, and there's some steps going down to the crypt. But the crypt's got a big, heavy door,
yeah.
and it's obviously locked. We realised if you lifted the top step off, you slid it, great big massive stone step, you could actually get into the crypt.
Are you fucking mental?
Yes, so seriously, so me and my best friend Wayne, we slid it to one side, we went into the crypt, and we had a look round the crypt. So we was in the crypt in the middle of the cemetery, having a look round. So anyway, we took another lad there, and we told him about it. We opened the crypt, we went in and had a look, and as usual, walked around the crypt and then climbed back out and told him to go in. And then we pulled the stone across and trapped him in. And we left him there for about 4 hours until it went dark. They locked the cemetery. They locked the cemetery gates up at night. So it went dark and he was still in there. At first he screamed and begged, and then he whimpered. And we finally let him out, just probably 10 o'clock at night or something like that. And I remember this, it's a horrible thing to do, but we genuinely did it to this lad.
And now he's in a mental hospital.
Right,
And
if
you
anybody has ever deserved this, it's you. Fuck off, Dave! In the graveyard in Southport where I used to go to school, next door, there's one of them crypts next to it. It's like a family crypt. And they had very similar things. They had like the windows and all that. Then they had the downstairs things. Fuck me. That was one of the scariest kind of things that they could possibly. A full family of ghosts and whatever.
Oh dear.
Oh, anyway, that was fun. That in a weird.
I did. I enjoyed that. That was really good tonight.
Cheers.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody, for being on. Thanks, everybody. That was really good tonight. I properly enjoyed that tonight. That was really good. So, we're not here Saturday because you're moving. Correct?
We're on the piss Saturday again. Yeah. I'm not moving yet. I'm moving week after, so we're on the piss.
So, then it's going to be 3 Saturdays we're going to miss.
No, I might be able to do it from. I might be moving Friday. Don't worry about it. We're not here this Saturday.
I'm worried. I'm worried. I like me
We're here
Saturday night.
We're here next Wednesday for the JFK.
The Juffaker. We're here for the Juffaker. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. And watch this. Then. Yeah, so everybody watch the JFK Through the Looking Glass. Just to get you all up to speed. Yeah, I know.
Any JFK information.
Yes,
we've
but
got
that's
a full week.
Yeah.
Ready for it.
Ready for you all. Good night, Nicole. Thanks,
everyone.
Right, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday.
See you later.